100% haunted. I'd like to say inhabited, because haunted sounds like there was something evil in it. Not at all. It quiets your mind down pretty instantly. I've seen some of my clients have done this for their newborn babies. Not very close. They don't need to be that close. Cats respond to this beautifully.
Well, say goodbye.
Yeah. And keep practicing.
So it's kind of like it's getting to this point where everybody's starting to question what is real and what is considered valid.
Well, I like anything that blows up the
3D
narrative,
reality.
at least to help us question things. That's the way we grow. As
We are sitting in front of a very big surprise.
You guys.
Explain the difference between just spirit guides and a gatekeeper spirit guide.
Okay, so your spirit team consists of spirit guides who are working in different departments. I'm going to tell you how it is, guys. This is really what I've experienced as a channeler and a medium.
What we're going to do with you guys is you're going to play along with us, and we have some surprises.
Yeah, I want to say
We're going
that.
to do some psychic tests.
Yeah, we're going to jump right in, and I just want to say to you guys that even if you've never done this before or you're pretty seasoned, this is still some great exercises that we're going to show you how to do, and then you can do at home with a friend. They've been doing what we've been talking about for 20 years, which is no matter what, we have to come through with gratitude. Time the same way as an empath? Like, do you feel even the planet has moved halfway around the sun?
Yeah, time has definitely sped up, as you guys probably have figured out by now. But I think it's because it's a conscious collective. It has to do with also how we've married into technology so intimately. Kelly Billings said, Riz, about your Britney. You always elicit, Santa Riz. You always elicit people saying, Riz.
Riz.
Santa Riz.
Riz is in Santa's belly this evening.
Okay, that's pretty sick. You are believing that things are wrong versus right, instead of looking at things in divine perfection, that everything is unfolding in its exact timing that it is intended to unfold. The old-fashioned original kind, which is from Brax, I think.
I like an old-fashioned Scooby-Doo, and I like an old-fashioned candy corn, an old-fashioned psychic message.
Empath question. As an empath myself, I would love some tips on how to handle large crowds. I'm still sometimes very overwhelmed by them. Thank you ahead of time. To be honest, I don't know if it quite ever goes away. However, there's ways you can play games and have fun with yourself. For me,
About to say what everybody's thinking,
oh my god.
but afraid to say.
Oh my god.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god. Well, what's happening is people can barely even text because they're crying, laughing so hard right now, and they're like dying. They're dying. I'm dying. Oh my god. Okay.
Sounds like a party to me if everybody's dying.
It's true.
Anybody got a dead uncle or dead grandpa out there? Want to talk to him? Why don't you name this show the Dead Grandpa Show? That's where it seems to be. Everybody wants a message from their dead grandpa. Give your dead grandpa a break. He was tired of you when he was alive. He certainly don't want to hear from you now.
Oh my god. I'm
Give the man a
not
break.
gonna make it. I'm actually not gonna make it.
You wouldn't leave him alone when he was alive, wanting to sit on his knee, wanting to go on his boat, want him to take you to Disneyland. Now, the man is dead. You still want a message from him. Leave him alone. Talk to me.
Riz is never gonna believe what happened today. When Riz comes back and finds out what you have done, he's gonna be very, very surprised.
Now we are going to open up the Mystic Vault for you guys. Our top mystical stories of 2024.
I wanted to talk to you guys about deja vu.
All right.
So I'm sure you guys have had deja vu. Some of you may or may not know what it is. Any move you make is better than not making a move at all.
Sometimes you disturb the peace to bring in peace.
And that's exactly right. And
Happy Halloween, everyone. Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
Come take a picture. Yeah.
and the spooky ones, they come out, and I'm back from the dead. Not even death could handle the Macho Man. Not even death can stop me. Oh, yeah.
He started to feel the energies.
Yeah,
So he was just dressed as Dracula, and he was just walking around in the Halloween, party, and we were having a great time. And then I was like, wait, and people started getting really scared.
yeah, something was taking
It looked like
over.
this real Dracula was showing up.
Yes.
And he can't help it when he's.
Well, yes, Professor, I was just at the library.
Just remember this as you take their questions and those who want to know. Remember, not all who seek knowledge are prepared for the answers. Off you go.
Oh my gosh. Must she always be here?
Apparently, Bellatrix, and you have something to offer this Halloween,
I do.
as you have forced me to tell them of their fate.
That's right.
Essence of what?
I must have my chocolate.
Would you mind if I proceeded, Bellatrix? Apologies to our friend here.
Intelligences are their own individual unique expressions. If they are at odds or in conflict with you, meaning preventing you from movement or feeling good or feeling that you have an attachment, as you call it, that there is an entity that means to do you harm. We are not here to tell you they do not exist, for they certainly do, for you are experiencing them. Many of you have had conversations with them and communication with them. Is the reality, as you call it, of the interaction with a separate being, an entity that may be holding you down, as you call it, to pin you against your bed, as is experienced in sleep paralysis, as it is called by those who are in the medical community. These night terrors, as those who are interested in the paranormal refer to them, we are speaking of the same event.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
How's everybody doing? Fine, crazy Earth Day, where the Earth is stretching its wings, I think. That's how I'm going to say how life is going for everybody across the world.
The Earth is stretching its wings.
The Earth is stretching out and yawning, and it's just letting itself be known. That's what's
yawning.
happening.
You know what? I was just about to yawn.
Well, I just want to point out.
The dreams are starting.
I just want to point out when you were on Maria Menounos recently.
Menounos, yes.
Is it Menounos or Menounos?
Probably in Greece, it's Menounos.
And you said that Greece is really going to go through it now.
Right. I was on Maria Menounos doing predictions for 2025.
Right.
And when I do those predictions, I feel around the world with wings, you might say. And I feel where energy's going to shift very powerfully.
Right.
Listen, sometimes I've said that, and there have been wonderful things that have happened in that country, and sometimes very tough things. Right now, Santorini is going through it. And I had said, I just felt, when I tuned in psychically to Greece, actually, I didn't tune into Greece itself. I just kind of let my psychic senses take me wherever they go. And I immediately saw Greece in my mind. I saw a huge shift for the people coming up. I did not know what it was,
Wow.
to be clear, but it was not something very pleasant, but I saw that it was going to lead to better things. Unfortunately, right now it's happening through a natural phenomenon. I don't say disaster, because when we look at life through the mystical lens, through the lens of, I feel, the old ways, guys, the shamanic perspective, we see Earth is being itself.
Yeah.
It's a disaster to us if it destroys life, property, and limb, as they say, but it is certainly not a disaster to the Earth itself. It's part of what the Earth does. So my prayers, my love, all to people in
So how many
Santorini.
earthquakes did they have?
I think
Erica?
200, right?
Over 500.
Over 500 this
500.
weekend?
Yeah, and maybe still happening.
In
I
2
mean,
days.
That's really incredible.
Yeah. So people have had premonition dreams like this of as far back as I can remember. People have said they've dreamt of fires, earthquakes, natural disasters happening. And one of the biggest things that I think psychics and people who do precognitive work hear from people who don't understand this work is, well, then how come you didn't prevent those disasters if you're a psychic?
Well, what can you possibly do?
Well, you have to understand, the reason that they say that is because they don't understand what psychic work is. Psychic work, the psychic experience, is that the person who receives psychic messages is only going to receive what they are supposed to know. They are not God or source or the divine, whatever word you want to use for the higher power. They are simply the receivers of it. And what you are supposed to know, you are going to give in a message. In any, whether it's a reading or you're on a podcast giving predictions. So a year ago, I was on the show with Maria Menounos, and they asked me, well, who do you predict is going to win? It's going to be Biden, or is it going to be someone new? Back in January of 2024, no one felt that Trump was going to win because he was going through all the legal trouble. The popularity seemed to be really down. And that was it. If you really can remember back to January 2024. So she put me on the spot in last year's predictions. And I said, well, I'll tell you, it's going to be Trump. And the comments were like, I hope he has a day job and all that kind of stuff. And here we are. The reason was that I see and read energy, guys. So the energy was there. I saw he had the energy. As a medium, I'm not there to express my opinion in a reading. Whether I support him, I don't support him, or I support somebody else has none of anybody's business. It's completely just about and it's none of my business to have my opinion in a reading. So your opinion has to stay out when you're getting a psychic precognitive message.
Yeah. So you have to stay neutral.
Which ties us into today's topic, which is dreams, because many people feel that their dreams are psychic dreams. Something is going to happen. But just like the tarot deck, Erica, the death card does not mean death.
That's right.
Are you done? Hi, everybody. I am Lady O, intuitive empath. This is my husband, obviously, a psychic medium, and trance channel Riz Mirza. And together we are welcoming you to our dream podcast. This is the first of a session or a season, I guess you could say, of deep dives. And Riz has a lot of big and powerful moments like you just saw, and that's what we love about him. And I think sometimes I do that too, and I go on these long spells and I just know where
it's
I'm
the
at.
podcast rule that you're not supposed to talk for more than 30 seconds at a time.
Well, yeah, you have to
if
let
you have
the
another
other person talk,
yeah,
and then you have to introduce the show.
Exactly.
There's all these
It happens sometimes though. My apologies. I get excited.
Yeah, it's good. We love it. You give really great information. And
I'm going to keep a sign off camera that says, remember,
that's a good
idea.
This is a professional situation. You must.
We will do that.
Can I get like a paddle that I can raise?
You'll love that too much.
You're right. I would. Yeah.
So who you are listening to, if you're new to our show, that is Erica Merriweather. She is our assistant and tarot and astrology. Should I say expert?
No,
I would say you never like me saying that because it's an endless study. You tell me.
Yes,
it never
I'm a lifelong
ends.
learner.
Lifelong learner.
But yeah, you call me an aficionado.
And truly, I think that tarot, especially with the Rider-Waite deck,
Yes.
It's a lifetime of learning, isn't
Oh,
it? That's the traditional.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So if you are wanting to dive deep into the mystical worlds of everything that you can imagine on this planet, off planet, we call it meta mystic or meta physical, meta quantum physics. You can any of those phrases will fit here for the show. But tonight we're focusing on dreams. And if you had a chance to watch a couple days ago, Riz just channeled a video. It was really amazing on dreams with Phineas Quimby. And if you had a chance to watch that, it was just mind altering, incredible information. I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
I have to watch it actually
If
a couple more times.
Yeah, if you guys watched the video, the channeling video, let us know in the comments because we'd love to hear some of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Or if you had questions regarding the course material, because truly the channelings are our weekly classroom time, basically.
Yeah. And for the purposes of tonight, we're just going to do the chat comments because I have the comments turned off and it won't let me turn it back on. So
People are commenting right there.
Yeah, chats are okay.
Oh, I see chats. That's live.
Yeah.
Chats. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Phineas said in last week's show is he said, how do you know you're not in your dream state being your true expressed self? And in this lifetime, what we're doing here in this 3D earth plane, we are in our dream state here. And that's a great way to start the show.
Right.
To
That we
start
are
thinking about that.
So that realm is the more complete version of you.
Yes.
The more true version of you, because you're not limited by the physical body. You're not amorphous like some gas, floating around. Your consciousness. It's very crystal clear, but very wide, expansive, detailed all at the same time.
Yeah.
So
that
you're going back to your real, true realm when you dream.
So if you guys haven't had a chance to watch that video, please do. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to do something we haven't done before, but it's going to be really exciting. We're going to take your questions. I already have pulled 14 questions from our community post. We're going to sift through those. We're going to also sift through your questions. You're more than welcome if you want to donate with a super chat. However, this is a free video, free session tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to intuitively give our response to what we feel and we think your dream means, which I find that so exciting because we do this all the time in our house every single day. Pretty much we come to each other if we can't figure it out ourselves, and we come to each other and one of us is always dissecting or decoding our dreams.
Yes.
So we're gonna start that.
Okay.
Okay. And Erica, you're gonna join us because the three of us are gonna kind of tackle each one of these dreams and questions about dreams. Okay.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the first question that was posed to us in the the community post, and that's a good place, you guys, if you ever want to communicate with us. I check it all the time, so you can leave comments and questions, etc. Okay, here we go. Actually, I'm not gonna need these tonight. This is so big here. Okay, here we go. This is from Paranormal Experience. And Erica, did we ever get her name?
We haven't.
I've talked to her before.
It's keeping me at the moment. Sorry.
Okay, and if there's anything going on in the chat room you want to let me know, you can just jump in and interrupt me because it's not like Psychic Sunday.
Yeah,
so
I'm pulling questions.
It's going to be like a community. It's a community hangout tonight.
Yes.
Okay, so Paranormal Experience says, since I was young, 4 or 5 years old, I've seen apparitions and heard my name called audibly. Reoccurring dreams of a plane landing in my street that went on for years. I've had 2 rebirth ceremonies and now I can manipulate what I do in my dreams. And I'm being chased. I can now run. So when I'm being chased, I can now run and climb walls and disappear when I want. Blew my mind the first time. I'm now feeling messages. Is that possibly channeling? Much love to you guys. Lisa. Oh, there's her name. Lisa. I want to go first. So first of all, the fact that you can run and climb and disappear, as you guys know, when you're dreaming, sometimes your limbs don't work, right? Your limbs are like noodles and you're running in slow motion and your arms and legs are not working like they should be. So if you are disappearing and you're doing things like this is your soul evolving. And this is your way of expanding your consciousness and expressing yourself in other ways so that you're getting more like familiar with all of your faculties. And the fact that you can do that in those dimensions means that you are expanding. And those rebirth ceremonies, I believe, have a lot to do with that, because you're doing such deep work on yourself and you're doing a lot of self-healing, most likely, and clearing. And that's why your dreams are going to be more profound. And you can have prophetic dreams if you're in those states. There's things that, like, out of all the people here, I mean, we all have extraordinary dreams in this house, but the dreams that Riz has, you guys, the dreams that Riz has, it could be like, we could have a series called Riz's Dreams, just to talk about the dreams he has. But there's things that you've taught me, especially about how to manipulate a dream before you go to sleep, to prepare yourself for what kind of dream you want to have, because you were having the most insane dreams and you were getting tired of it. So many alien takeover dreams. And so what do you say about that?
In regard to Lisa's, is that Lisa is her name? You know, the plane landing, clearly, you know, it's representing the astral travel. Okay. It is about you landing. The plane is you. So it is you lifting off and coming back. It is about safely landing back on the ground. And, you know, being chased is a very normal dream to have, because that is, you know, our basic instinct is for survival in the physical body. So naturally it does translate onto the dream side. Now, being able to do what you're doing and being able to get a hold of your body, and remember, you are getting acclimated to your true body, which is your energy body. This is the projected physical body in the 3D, the third dimensional reality, right? Where we experience physical form in a certain type of density, right? So what I see that in your own dream experience, when you said your question was about channeling, anything that opens you up, period, and expands how you are experiencing reality certainly will help you with channeling, because with channeling you have to be very loose. So the dream is teaching you that there's a communication or a signal that you can receive more clearly. And in the beginning, it may not be in the form of messages for a person. It's simply that the passageway itself is being felt. Like you're just walking through the tunnel. Imagine a tunnel that had been filled with stuff. And then as you're kind of, you're getting better and better at, and being more sensitive, the pathway is getting more clear, less cluttered. Doesn't mean that there's going to be anything flowing through just yet. So channeling is something that takes a lot of time, and do it properly, and just take it step by step, and make requests before you go to bed.
To yourself.
To your guides.
You always have a guide with you.
There's a dream guide.
There's a dream guide that oversees and will answer your questions if you want to talk to that guide before you go to sleep. And also just before you wake up, when the dream ends, there's this little period of time where you kind of reacclimate and get back in your body. In that moment, you can ask your guide questions about what was like that dream about, or can I get more information? Or
a good spirit animal to call upon is either the raven or the owl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to say about that?
No,
okay.
Sorry, it just reminded me. Sorry.
No, seriously.
It's such a kid moment of me. You had told me once that there was like an owl working with me, and there was a period of my life where I had a lot of owl things, and my dreams were really that year.
All things that are nocturnal, certainly cats, having cats with you before you go to bed, or sleeping in your bed, or if you don't have a cat, you can meditate and envision a cat next to you.
I
Truly,
feel like they are guardians.
They are guardians in the dream state. That's why the Egyptians were buried with them, because they felt the cats were going to protect them through the ultimate sleep. The little death is called sleep, and then the dream time is the death that they travel into the dream world. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go to, there's one that's, I'll come back to Stuti. She had a dream about us, and I'll definitely talk about that. So we'll move that 2 or 3 questions later. Next one, we're going to Christine Marie. I'm looking for insight on this recent dream. I dreamt I met my spirit guide and he looked like Prince. I have so much to say. There were spirits gathered in another room, and I approached one and asked her if she knew his name, and she said his name is Communion.
What a beautiful name.
There is so much more to this dream, but this is the short version. Thank you for your input. So I have to say a few things first. We're the kind of people that if you tell us your dream, we're so in it with you. We go all the way because we love dreams and we believe so much. There's so much that goes on in the dream state. Okay, so Prince. First of all, we adore Prince. We love Prince. We understand his soul to some degree because we've tuned into him many times.
I gave a reading to his cousin.
Yeah.
And actually, I think this is on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
There was a woman, I was doing readings on the street and we had a camera crew.
Yep.
And she walked by and she didn't tell me who she was. But then we sat down and just a Prince story for you. What's her name?
Christine.
Christine, there's a Prince story for you if you're watching. So we were there, we had a camera crew, and this woman stopped me and she said, "Who are you?" And it was like a very nice moment. And she said, "I want to sit down with you." She goes, she said her name and she goes, "Prince was my cousin.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered how he was doing and to give me a message from him." And look, for me personally, that's where I set aside that this person is famous. No, he's a human being, just like any other person asked me, "Can you give me a message from my cousin?" I immediately switch into, I'm getting a message from just her cousin, not, "Oh my God, it's Prince. I can't give a message from Prince." What? No, that's not how it works. Once you lock into spirit and consciousness, everyone is part of the same, everyone's on the same level. So he did come through really quickly. And if you remembered, he had said a particular name and said this to her, and she jumped up and ran down the street and came, because sisters, they always do that, something blows their mind. She runs down the street, comes running back, and she goes, that was his childhood friend's, his best childhood friend's name, lived across the street from us. And of course, no one could know that, obviously. But I just wanted to share that reading moment with you because it was a highlight of my life, right? To be able to give a message from him. But the reason I also wanted to bring it up is that, yes, it's very possible it is Prince showing up. Communion sounds like that's what he would name his next album, honestly.
Well, you have to understand, these are us and everyone else and all of our souls. We're multidimensional. We have a lot of lives. So Prince is many other things other than Prince. And because he was such a grand, expresser, somebody who expressed himself in a grand fashion, made him an exceptional teacher of expression. And so we look at him with reverence, and we look at him as one of the teachers, one of the master teachers on the planet. It's not about if he did things right or wrong on the planet. It's about how expressed was he. And so that's how we view humans on the planet. We don't look at necessarily your moral code or your right or wrong. We look at how expressed are you in your fullness, and are you coming from a place where you're satisfying yourself as a soul. And so
what's really fascinating, and I just got this, and Erica, you will find this fascinating. So I think it was Prince. Here's why. He said the other person said his name was Communion, but Prince was a Gemini. That's the sign of the communicator. Gemini is the sign of communication. Everyone knows this, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
To commune, what's the definition of that?
So to come together, communication is information coming together and being exchanged, right? So the communion of something.
And I could totally picture him having that name. So that means...
he's your guide.
Totally.
That means he's working with you. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to work with you for the rest of your life, because guides come in and out. It's kind of like a big party, and there's different guides that come in and they hang out with you for a little while to see what you're doing and how they can help. And if they are needed at that particular time, they'll jump in. So he's working with you, and he's what I would say what he's known for. It's not his precision. because that just came naturally to him. I would say, and I'm sure Riz would agree, is Prince is known for his expression, his self-expression. It was about really pulling forth every ounce of his being on who he was.
And I would say this also, Christine, right? Christine, watch the film Purple Rain. Here's why. Prince's character, that's a semi-autobiographical film, even though it's probably very, very directly autobiographical, is that in the film, in the beginning of Purple Rain, the first half of it, he's this frustrated artist named The Kid. And no one understands. There's a scene, he's in the back on the basement of the club, and the owner comes down because people weren't responding to his music. And the owner comes down and leans against this dirty wall in this low budget club and looks at him and goes, "Kid, nobody understands your music but you." And he just broke because he thought he was expressing, communicating, having communion with the audience, and he wasn't. So he went back to his house, had to face his demons with his father, who was beating his mom, and he had to deal with the girl that he liked and not being able to express himself properly. And then he also went to rehearsal and heard his bandmates working on a song, and usually he would not even listen to their music. And he's like, "That sounds good. What's that?" And then he wrote with them and collaborated. Communication, communion, collaboration, Christine. That's the message for you. And then when he did that, he became successful in the film.
You know what she just said, too?
What?
She said she saw him 7 times in concert.
Oh, we
and
got
she's
to see
watched
him, thank
Purple
God,
Rain
in
too many
concert.
times to count.
All right, but did you get that scene? Do you understand that scene?
Well, let me talk about,
you know, that's why the message is there for you now.
So I want to talk
She
about
said
why you have actually chose Prince to be your communicator. So you are actually accessing his frequency by having this interest. It's not just that you're a fan, but you're actually connecting to him. And so this is how you called him in. So in a way, you are in communion with Prince. You called him in with your love and desire to know more about him. And that's how this works.
And then he gets called in because he knows who's really needs his frequency. Now, side note, in my new Spirit Guide Oracle deck, there is a card inspired by him. So
that was Wonderful Dream.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to Dragon Stormy. Why have I started having naked, barely clothed dreams that don't feel like dreams again? Last time to have these on repeat was in my teens. They feel real to the point I think, oh crap, I'm not dreaming and I'm actually naked right now. And thank you for letting me have a crack at them first, because I get immediately stuff right away. So to me, what naked in a dream means is learning to be comfortable in your own skin, learning to, it's like self-acceptance. You may have already self-accepted and now you're just enjoying that process, or you are in process of learning how to self-accept. So if you have to kind of take inventory of your life to see where you're at and which one that flows, you know, good with you, which one, I can't speak, which one works. So that's what I think naked is. The fact that it was repeating in your teens, that's the time when we're always very self-aware and going through our changes, and we're always wondering how people see us. And this is about, you know, you're in public. So you're in public, you're naked, how people perceive you, how they receive you, how you're feeling. You feel naked and exposed. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? These are self-reflective questions that your higher self is posing for you. So you can take a look at and see how you feel about yourself. If you're expressed, if you feel very expressed and you feel very comfortable in social settings and in public, that means that you are comfortable in your environment and you have made peace with it. So it's up to you. My intuition says that you're working on this because it was a symbol in your teens. Do you want to speak about that one?
I just like that you said, "Can I take a crack at the naked question?"
No.
That's what you said.
Well,
okay, next one.
Okay,
Let's do the next one.
Bucky, which I don't think he's here tonight. Paul, I don't Oh, he's just making a comment that he talks about his ex-wife, or he dreams about his ex-wife, but I think he was joking. Next one is from TG24123. Snakes in dreams mean what? What do you think of lucid dreaming, and how can we have lucid dreams?
Snakes often represent the deep healing. Remember, snakes are the symbol of medicine. Look at the prescription symbol at CVS or whatever pharmacy, and it's a snake around. I think it's a staff or a sword.
The staff.
It's a staff. So snakes shed their skin. Snakes,
Transformation.
they're the symbol of transformation, and they move differently. The way that they move forward is different than any other creature on the planet. So it is about you need to give yourself permission to understand your own stride, that you don't need to do it the way everyone else does it. Snakes move like this, right? They use their body in a very different way than animals. They don't have any legs, and yet they can move so quickly. So really understanding your own, I also want to say your own physicality now. Understanding how your body moves and feeling more connected to your own body. This ties in with the shedding of the skin. The shedding of the skin quality of the snakes is that, they rarely drag around their dead old skin forever. They move out of it and the skin falls off. So the message partly for you is, what old identity are you still dragging around that you haven't fully let go of? It could be habits. It could be those belief systems, those opinions, those grudges, those hurts, pains, or embarrassments that you need to finally cut loose from yourself and know that there's a new, more colorful, healthier version of yourself that is emerging.
So truly transformation, snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So lucid dreaming, this is my favorite question. So here's my recommendation.
You want to define it for people? Some people don't know what it is.
Why don't you go ahead?
No, you got it.
No, you wanted to define it. So go
Oh,
ahead.
it's just when you know it's a dream.
So
in the dream.
My way of getting control in a dream, I'll tell you how I do it, is the next time you dream, try to set an intention before you go to sleep that this time you're going to wake up in your dream. That's how you have to say it. That's just how the brain needs to hear it. And it has to make sense in your subconscious mind to you somehow, some way. Those are the connecting dots that's going to actually infiltrate into your dream. So you say to yourself, I want to wake up into my dream. I want to wake up in my dream. That's the first thing you need to let your body know. Program your subconscious mind. Then this is your practice. While you're dreaming, normally when you're kind of a novice, new to dreaming or new to being aware of dreams or new to observing and observing yourself observing, this is how you normally do it, is you'll just observe. This is normally what happens in a dream for people who are not in control of their dreams. What they do is they just kind of watch everything that's going on and kind of walk around like you're kind of, what are those players called in those video games?
NPCs.
An NPC. So you're just a non-player. You're just kind of witnessing and watching everything happen around you, but you're not making any moves. You don't really see yourself as an individual or a person. You have no gravitas. There's nothing about you that's alive. You're more just kind of like codes. You're just like I would say a formula of like, that's a little metaphysical, but you're just kind of an object. So once you start to find out that you're in a dream, there's stages of awareness, and that takes years to understand. The first stage is, oh, I'm in a dream, I think. Second stage is stay in the dream and not wake up in real life. That's hard, because as soon as you say I'm in a dream, most of us say, oh shoot, I should wake up right now because I don't want to wake up in a dream. Some people don't want to wake up in a dream. You wake up and you're like, oh, this is a dream. This isn't real. I'm getting out of here. And
I've done wild, in the few lucid dreams that I've had personally, I've tested the limits of my own mortality.
Before you tested,
like I've jumped off of cliffs and mountains.
But before you did that, there's a moment where you reflect to yourself, and for you, I'm sure it's very instant.
Very instant. Where
you decide if this is a dream or not. If it is a dream, what you're going to do about it. If it's not a dream, you're going to go ahead and go through with it. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I don't know it's a dream. I'm so in it, but I'm so consciously in it and so playing the game
Right.
full out
Right.
that I don't even know this is a dream. But I remember when I was first trying to learn lucid dreaming, I needed to know it was a dream. So I needed to feel more in control. So then I started saying to myself, like as soon as I would wake up in the dream, I would say to myself, okay, this isn't real because my mom crossed over, but she's here and she's younger. And this isn't the house I live in, but it feels like it is.
But it is the house you live in.
But it is, but it's not.
My friend was there, but it wasn't him.
So you start to get like an inkling like, this can't be real. And as soon as you go that route, sometimes the subconscious mind will say, well, you should wake up now.
Well, that's why, guys, and for
'Cause you're
everybody
pulling the veil
watching,
back.
yeah, some homework for everyone, and probably some of you have already seen this film, is the film What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. I think it came out around 1996 or 7. It's a film that came out that was about the afterlife, a very tragic and sad story. If you can get through the gut-wrenching story of how these people died and the family that was torn apart and the love lost. I mean, that's part of why it makes it so impactful. But boy, it's a downer. But once the story shifts to the other side, showing you the other side, their experiences on the other side, I, as a medium, will tell you that it was very accurate. When I watched the film, it certainly mirrored my experiences as a medium when I see my glimpses of the other side. And even in my own sacred shamanic medicine journey work, when I have gone into those realms for a longer period of time, it's what I've experienced. So in that film, they show you that people can change their form, change their face, and right in front of you in the middle of a conversation.
Right.
And that is very powerful. It is your homework if you haven't seen it. And in fact, if you have even seen it, watch it again.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how a psychic medium dreams, and somebody who's very in tune and can channel. So just to give yourself some reference. So Riz can fly in his dreams, which I have been able to do several times, a handful of times, but I think now I could do it more if I will myself. But you have done it regularly for years. So he flies about 20 to 30 feet above the treetops, I think, and
No, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, but yes, not very high up in the sky.
Same height.
Yes, maybe like if you live in a house, maybe the second story of your house. Yeah.
And he feels the lift off and he feels the actual action of flying, and so he flies. The other things is lots of mediumship, of course. He has dreams about his own family and other people I'm sure has visited that are mediumship dreams. There's other things, and I'm trying to remember them now and it's escaping me, but if they come to me and if you remember, there's other things that you do in your dreams that are kind of supernatural, and those are important because that talks about your range.
Now, when these things are supernatural, what we're saying is that they are supernatural to us here on the earthly realm. The dream state, as Phineas was talking about in the channeling, if you guys are just joining us right now, you might want to pause this and go watch the video from 2 days ago where I channel my spirit guide Phineas, who gave a very long and powerful, detailed part 1.
I would actually like them to stay on the chat so we can have as many people.
No, I said if they're tuning in now, meaning in terms of watching it later. Sorry, not you guys are watching live. Phineas, when it's classroom time with the channeling, the spirit guides come to really get into detail to describe what those realms are like and how we can understand them. And part of the very powerful teachings that he gave was that the dream state is much more indicative of what we all actually are, who we are. So where there are no limits, where we are experiencing multi-dimensions, where there is no physical body, there's just the energetic body, where we can jump timelines, that happens like quote unquote there. But that's our source. What the impression we have been under is that we here are creating those dreams. So dream scientists and doctors and psychiatrists try to say, well, we got to get to the bottom of this. So what's going on in your life is making you have these dreams? Or they just think it's random processes of the brain.
Who cares what they think? It's
what we're
about
saying. So forget what we're saying. We're going to tell you what it is.
What we feel.
So You are not the source. That version of you in the dream time, that's your true self. And this is just one aspect of your consciousness focused here for your life mission in the 3D. But the bigger you, the true you, is there, over there. Now that also then means that you're actually, that version of you is actually just dreaming this. The full version of you over there is actually dreaming this version right now, watching this podcast. They're dreaming you, not you're dreaming them.
I have 2 questions I'm going to put together because we already kind of already spoke about it.
Some interesting ones in the chat too.
Yeah, I'm about to go there. Okay, so Lisa C said, I would like to know how to remember my dreams, and can you manipulate the way you dream? And Emily Lorenz Bradley said, what does it mean when somebody continuously awakens inside their dream, like Groundhog Day happened to me once? So basically, the Groundhog Day thing is really easy. So if you have repetitive dreams, it just means that you haven't focused enough on what the message is. And so your higher self, subconscious mind, keeps repeating it to get your attention so that you can get the final message of what it is that you're working on, the message behind it. That's why you keep having it. And then as far as how to remember your dream, that's a meditation. You have to actually start telling yourself and meditating prior and giving yourself the time and space in this very busy life where time seems to be speeding up. We seem to have no time for stillness, quietness, meditation. And this is what's happening, is that we're rushing from one thing to the next, including sleep and including waking up, and we're rushing right away first thing in the morning. So there's no time to have the peace to recollect. Some people wake up early. They'll wake up at 4, 5 a.m. and they want to just be with themselves in silence and slow time down so they could just be with their dreams, journal, light candles, go stretch, do some yoga in the living room, feed your animals.
Chant, tone your voice, work on voice toning.
Especially if you have a family or if you have children, go to bed a little bit early or take a nap in the day, but try to wake up early so that you can have this quiet time, because this is a part of your practice. Okay, so Erica, did you want to ask some questions?
Yeah, there's some really
because I have 2 more left, but I can take some. Yeah,
go
ahead.
We got a bunch of questions in the chat. Marissa says that once I had a dream where a cousin who passed visited me and told me about the afterlife, answered some questions, and I got to see his job.
Amazing.
Well, that's like a remote viewing situation.
It felt like a lucid dream, but
well, that was
talk about
that's more like, it's not in the fantastical realm. It was very real. Like she actually did an astral projection in a way, but it was not a full astral projection.
Well, it was just a communication dream. It was a message dream. It was a communication
the fact that
dream.
She got to see where he works. That means that her consciousness traveled there.
Well, right, and we're saying that too because the difference, guys, between that and the way we're talking about dreams is this dream that Marissa had was a dream, was a state of being where she was communicating in real time with her loved one. Okay, she wasn't experiencing the dream state where she was having a fantastical experience or creating visions or going back time to her childhood. This was, her consciousness was completely open, the portal was open, her loved one could enter into that portal, she could enter into that portal, and a conversation could be had that was logical, coherent, and linear in accordance with where she is at now. Okay, so there was nothing strange about it. That's why we're calling it different than a regular dream. It happened during the sleep state, Marissa, but we wouldn't call that a dream.
Okay. Jen Halpin says, what does it mean for my psychic abilities when I dream of an event that ends up happening a month after the dream? The dream, it was a premonition dream. The dream was that my neighbor died of a heart attack and the ambulance came and took her body away. So that is exactly what you're saying it is. It's a premonition dream. And, there's a space for that. There's a time, it's you're being psychic on the other side.
For sure. And, many people do have precognitive dreams because that is part of our I want to say the ability that was robbed from us, that it was not trusted, that we didn't have 5 senses. Originally, the teaching was we had 6 senses. And the powers that be, the church and the religious people, didn't want you to have that. So they just said you have 5 senses acceptable. You could teach that to children. It's only the physical senses that are real. There's no the metaphysical sense is not
So
real.
we're going back to the basics.
Let's go back to the basics. We all have 6 senses. Just like some of us have a stronger sense of smell or taste or touch than others, some of us have a stronger 6th sense than others. So while we all have a 6th sense, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a professional psychic because you had some precognitive dreams. But it also doesn't mean that you're not going to. But a psychic has them in waking life. Okay. So,
but I would recommend writing them down, and from now on, taking them a little bit more serious, to the point where you might reach out to maybe a loved one that knows that person and say, I just want to let you know I had this dream, to check her health, not to scare you. You have to really set it up properly, because people get kind of weirded out and scared if you have a premonition dream that's scary. I've had dreams that certain people in my family have died. You know, and I had to wake up and understand, like, do I need to make sure they're going to be okay? And then I had to tune in and realize that that person's going through a great transformation. And so the death in that dream represented their spiritual death rebirth cycle.
yes.
And so you have to be able to like decipher and
Just like the tarot
differentiate.
card of death does
Yeah.
not mean a physical death. It means a great shift.
Well, let's talk about Stuti real quick, and then we'll go all to the chat questions. So Stuti, who joins us from India all the time.
Oh, from India.
Okay. In the our psychic lives on Sundays. She said, today after our Sunday live, I went back to sleep and ended up hanging out with Lady O and Riz in my dream. And by the way, in that episode, we had talked about how you told me how to do it as well, and I did it the same night too. You were talking about how you can kind of like will yourself into a situation because you go all in. And so, like, for instance,
You mean like when I
we were
started
watching Trader, the TV show, and then we like went into the show so deep, and then we dreamed it that we were on the show. So we talked about that that night, right? And Stuti, I remember because I don't know, sometimes certain messages stand out to me. And I remember she said, I was talking about something. I can't remember what I was talking about, but Stuti said, I don't know what just happened to me, but I felt like I just went into a trance while you were talking.
So what happened was that
she
opened up that portal.
And that's what you were talking about. So she did it, and then she went into spending time with us because that's what she was watching.
You know, Robin Williams once was giving an interview, and he had said that if you're playing video games right before bed, you will end up dreaming about that video game or be in that video game.
Yes.
And that's very profound if you really go into discussion, because some people feel that this itself is a projected video game we are in right now, working things out in a classroom in another dimension, which happened in one of the Star Trek films. I think it was either the new wave of Star Trek films that came out about, well, now it's old. Now it's 15, 20 years old. With Chris Pines, is that the actor? So in the Chris Pines series, I think it was the first or second one. We thought there was a battle going on, and then that was, I think, the opening scene, but it was just a projection in a classroom, and then they were standing.
I love that
in this circular, holographic room.
I feel that's very close to kind of like what happens on the other side in so many ways.
I do think that
absolutely, and we could talk a lot about Star Trek another time because I have a lot to say. We should bring that up and talk about Star Trek. Okay, so I'm going to have Erica read off the questions that are coming into the chat right now. And Stuti, to answer your question, are we working with you? The answer is always yes. If you want us to work with you, we will definitely work with you, because we work with a lot of people in the dream time, and a lot of people have reached out to us and sent emails or texts or whatever. Oh, I had a dream about you guys, and you gave me this message, etc. Okay, so go ahead, E.
Okay. So this is more of maybe an intuitive kind of question for you guys. So Yasmin, her husband told her today that she spent like the whole night waving her left arm around and making signs, and she would love some insight
Riz,
on that.
That's your territory.
I do that
Riz
often.
Is so physical when he sleeps. He plays basketball. He's riding bicycles. Maybe because your body wants to be that physical all the time, and you're leading journeys all the time.
I spend so much. The only time I'm really moving my body is at the gym, and then
at night, that's when you get all your exercise.
8 to 12 hours a day when I'm with clients. I'm sitting down.
Yeah, but you do so much physical activity. But there has been times I have witnessed what you just talked about. He has literally made his hand wave and do things like this, and he's talking. And so that's what you're doing. Your
Well,
physical body is
you are
expressing.
just working with the energy.
Yeah.
Notice that a lot of wizards and sorcerers, they say the ones who are conjuring, but really they're just doing energy work. That's
so
why
moving energy for sure, like a cat moving its tail. That's exactly what that is.
Yes,
Your body is releasing
yes.
energy stored up from the day, especially if you don't release. And that's another thing. I know Riz and I talk about this every single day. We always know the importance of moving energy in our body every single
Tai
day.
Chi and Qigong,
have
Yasmin, you
to.
have to learn it.
What happens is it gets
Yeah.
bottled up and you start to get backlogged of energy that needs to be expressed. Just like when your animals are running around, they have the zoomies. Us humans, even though we're exhausted, mentally tired and stressed, whatever, our physical body still needs to have some kind of movement. You have to, do the treadmill, do a walk around the block.
But it's that
do jumping
movement.
jacks,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But then there is something that, especially
the
for
gym.
those who are working on their intuitive and their etheric body,
Mm-hmm.
those are good things for your lymphatic system, for your physical health, your cardiovascular system. But what I'm talking about has nothing to do with that. When I'm talking about Tai Chi and Qigong, it's not just for the physical health benefits. It's about truly understanding how to work with energy. I do probably 10 different Qigong exercises every single day that have to do with moving energy. I get on my vibration platform. Everyone should have a vibration platform. Get one, gift yourself that. Look into what a vibration platform does for you. The first thing you should do every
Maybe
morning.
I should put a link.
Yes, we'll put some that we really like and recommend. So, sometimes I go blue in the face trying to tell people to do things to really help themselves, but they don't listen. Sometimes people just don't listen.
They're listening tonight.
I hope they do.
This is a good class tonight.
Yes,
We're having
be
dream
good.
talk.
Yeah, the good kids are here.
The good
Okay,
kids, are here.
This is fun, Linda. This is more of a psychic premonition, kind of that realm of dreaming. But she says that she has these recurring dreams where she'll get actual GPS coordinates, and she'll wake up and she'll look on it on Google Maps and find out it's a real physical place.
Wow.
And she said mostly it's locations in Japan.
Oh, well, that's her past life for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
So,
Which leads to a follow-up question.
Yes.
Bernadette wanted to know, can you dream about your past life?
yes.
So
Yes, I'll
related.
combine those two questions. This is very near and dear to us too, because this is, I think, in the beginning of our spiritual work, we spent a lot of time talking about this because we would have these pulls and these inclinations towards a culture or a country or a location. And then we would dream about it. And then we ended up going. And when we went to these places, we satisfied that part of us that was so longing to come back to our old skin. So Japan was definitely a place that we've lived many lifetimes, and we were samurais, and
And we're going in April.
and we're going in April, and that's why we started.
Come
doing these
join our
retreats.
retreat, and we'll talk to you all about Japan while we're in Japan.
And
Maybe we'll go to some of those coordinates that.
Hey.
Wait, what if some of those coordinates are a part of our retreat?
you should send it to us so we can see.
Well, I don't have time to look up her coordinates, but we can.
Well, maybe Erica
she can bring her
Have me
coordinates.
do it.
Erica has the
Let's,
time.
let's be
Let's
real.
add another thing to your list now,
Yeah,
Erica. But-
just look up those coordinates.
But seriously, if you've never been to Japan, I think we have space on the Japan retreat.
That would be really good
do.
because
We
this
do?
is
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
This is exactly what opened my heart. I'll never forget. I went to the Miyazaki Museum.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and he's, Studio Ghibli, and he's that amazing animator. And if you don't know who he is, you might know the movie Ponyo. A lot of people know that animated movie. So we were in his museum. We were walking around, and I went to this section. Oh my God, I can almost cry about it. So I went to this section where they showed I want to call it a reenactment, but they did they showed his office space where he spent most of his life in his young adulthood drawing, and it had everything you can possibly imagine of a person.
All his materials,
his
his
desks,
pencils,
books, his
colored
paints,
pencils, and
everything.
there were papers everywhere with the real drawings.
But it reminded me of my childhood. It reminded me of my younger years as an artist myself, and I had a room that looked very similar. And all of a sudden, it was like a lightning bolt hit the top of my head, and I split in half, and my heart and throat chakra exploded. And this is in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, when I'm still dealing with tons of trauma and whatnot. And I went to the bathroom, and I'm not going to feel this moment because I can't go into it. It was too extreme. I went to the bathroom, I ran, and I sat on the floor in the stall, and I put my head in my winter coat, and I let out the biggest, deepest, I had to try to be as quiet as possible, kind of cry that was such a soulful cry that was like I was ripping myself out of my own tomb and remembering who I was. And it was through this trip to Japan and remembering who I was from a past life and going into the Miyazaki Museum and seeing my childhood there and realizing it's not too late. I'm not dead. I'm not so traumatized that I can't come back to life. I'm actually here on the planet still. I'm still an artist. And it was this trip that I got it. And it was tears, buckets, torrents. My family was looking for me. They couldn't find me. It was 15 minutes in the bathroom. And to pull it together, to get up and walk out, it took everything I had, and I couldn't even speak afterwards. And I had to tell everybody, listen, I just had an extremely massive transformational spiritual moment, and I have to just be alone. And I walked around in a daze. I felt like I had unleashed and unlocked myself from the biggest tomb. And so these past life dreams, and anytime you have dreams that you're talking about other countries and cultures, take it very, very seriously, because it also means that the veil is thinning between you and your other selves, which means your consciousness is expanding, which means you're connecting to the consciousness of those past lives. And they're not in the past, they're parallel lives. And so you are feeling your other lifetimes. You're feeling your consciousness. That means you're expanding. And if you do that, that means you're starting to get, I call it one, become unified or one with all your other versions of yourself. It's like taking your hand and putting it like they're all puppets, and you're putting your hands through all of them. Imagine if you can be connected and in communion with all of your parallel lives, and all of those lives are all knowing what you're doing here today, right now, and focused in this life, and you're pulling it all together. Now, could you imagine just traveling to a country can do that for you? Everything I just said can come from just traveling to the right country, can unlock you to that level and change your life forever.
Yeah.
So that's why we had to go deep on this one, but that's what the show's about.
But that's why we also do the retreats to the places that we do retreats in.
And we only go to the places that we feel that we've had past lives, and that's why we go. So we go to Egypt. We've been to India for 10 years, and then Japan, Ireland, England. These are all places we have very deep, deep past lives. That's why we take you guys. Okay. You guys want to go to the next question?
What else
That
have
was
you
a
got?
big, long speech from me. Thank you guys for letting me talk.
Jennifer, this is a fun dream. I had a dream where I was standing upright, but below a tree. The tree roots started growing around my legs and then up my body, and then I turned into the tree. What message does this seem to be? I also like that it rhymed. That'd be a great children's book.
Well, I'm bursting. If you want to go, or do you want me to go?
Well, remember something. The trees represent knowledge and the passage of time, and they represent rootedness in a very different way than just, all plants do have roots, but trees are where their roots also show above the ground. There's not many plants that their roots are, you can see them above the ground as well. So the trees they're the guardians, the safekeepers of the planet. And so tree wisdom is very, very powerful for you. And what it is saying for me, it is the rebirth, your connection to your eternal self. The tree, if you look at the tree, it looks the same on the top part as the bottom part. The top part is reaching up into the light towards the sky, but really it's the same thing is happening with the roots into the earth. So it is the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon, the dark and the light. It is the balancing of all of that. So this was a great big healing happening to you from sacred tree energy.
My perspective is a little different, but there's a match and a meeting in the middle. My perspective is that I see trees as extremely magical beings. And so it means that you are going into your magic. It means that magic has now found you and you have found it. And the connection is being made. You are connecting to this ethereal material world that is so magical that we have no idea.
Oh, I just remembered the Madonna song Material Girl. Imagine she did one now called Ethereal Girl.
That would be
because we are living in an ethereal world, and I am an ethereal
girl.
An ethereal girl.
What's the next part?
I am going to immediately make that into a T-shirt for people.
Write it down.
Living in an ethereal world, and I'm an ethereal girl.
I'm
I'm gonna write it down right now.
Okay, guys, so that's what that means. So that means there's magic all around you, magic above you and below you, magic everywhere. And it's also a reminder to look for it because the trees are very conscious and aware. By the way, if you would like to go deeper into the science of trees and find out its magic, there is scientific proof called, I think it's called Plants Speak or Plants Talk. If you guys remember or know about this documentary, it's one of my favorite documentaries that have come out about plant. We just went offline. Are we? No, we're okay. My whole system went dark here, so my energy exploded. I think what happened, and I just short circuited my computer. There is a documentary out. I think it's called Plants Speak or Plants Talk, something like that, and it's recent, and it's scientific proof that plants literally can feel energy, sense, smell, and hear vibration and communicate with each other.
And go into survival mode when they feel they're being threatened.
And recognize familiar people and know who feeds them. There's a whole science. And by the way, it's all in the laboratory. It is all proven through every scientific method. It is now catching up to what we have always felt and known, that plants are sentient beings. So tree wisdom, tree spirits, tree guardians, trees in your life, you are protected. You have guardians with you. You have magic around you. You just look for it. It's about looking for it. Okay. So you want to go to the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's someone asked this, and then there's a couple other people that have asked in the comments. What is your advice for somebody who isn't dreaming or can't get into REM sleep, and they're not really able to access that?
Okay, number one, I would say to you, let go of ever wanting to dream, because it's just making it even harder when you're wanting it and trying to set these intentions. You just let it go. I almost want to say to you, what do you need to dream for?
Yeah, you can't make yourself wrong.
Yeah, just don't make the experience wrong. So there's other ways to have fantastical experiences. Work with a shaman, do a sacred medicine journey. There's different things you can do to have and they're longer, and they're going to make more sense, and they're much, actually, in a sense, they're actually much more potent in actually helping you transform your life. Now, if you're having trouble sleeping, I would just go the actual route of understanding what you're eating, what your habits are, and usually not being able to sleep is because your conscious mind is too busy. If it's about this REM sleep, but the prescription across the board is get yoga into your life, get restorative yoga into your life, get breath work into your life. By the way, all of these things, no one has any excuse because YouTube is free. There's lessons and all of these things on YouTube, guys, so no one has any excuse.
No excuse.
Learn breath work, learn yoga, learn that type of yoga, and calm this nervous system down. And also watch what you're eating before the last 3 hours before bed. Don't even eat anything.
So I would recommend no sugar, a couple 2 to 4 hours before sleep, no stimulants at all. Lessen your screen time, and don't be stimulated with really like hyper type of television. If you watch TV, do some watch very low chill things. And I recommend taking a product, and I can never say it, so I'm just going to say it's B12, but what's the name of it? It's magnesium.
Look into it. My magnesium has helped a lot of people sleep.
No, but it's magnesium something. It's a folate?
Glycinate.
Glycinate. Yeah. Okay, so my magnesium glycinate, I take about 4 or 5 capsules before I go to bed every night. So what it does is it relaxes and heals and repairs the muscles while you sleep, so you don't have anxiety and tension in your muscles.
L-theanine is a great amino acid that helps that. There's
valerian root is really good to
excellent.
calm your nervous system.
For sure.
There's herbal aids. There's herbal sprays. You can spray your pillow.
Passion flowers.
If you're desperate, I don't recommend it. And I don't take any sleep aids that are like over the counter, or prescription. But we've had to do melatonin when we're like traveling and we're like jet lagged. Yeah. And boy, let me tell you, you'll get some dreams out of it. They're intense and powerful. Yeah. They're not always that great though. Yeah. So I don't recommend it because it messes with your hormones a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Any interesting dreams that people are having?
Well, let's talk about aliens.
Let's talk about aliens.
We've got a whole sector.
let me tell you.
Yeah, no dream episode is complete without
we have a lot
alien
to
dream.
say
Okay.
about alien
All right.
dreams.
So we've got several questions about aliens. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna dive in. Nancy S, who also Riz, you gave her a message that she was gonna go on a cruise. She went on that cruise.
Oh,
And had a great time, and that's
Awesome.
why she missed the live last week. She was on the cruise. You told her to go.
all right,
Oh,
Nancy. I'm glad you had a great time.
She's also had a dream. I feel like a game show.
I want to do a psychic cruise one day when we have 2 million subscribers. We'll do a psychic cruise. Fill that boat up.
Goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Nancy says, I've had a dream where a red alien came to me and was hugging a loved one. I wasn't scared, just thought, that's different. But my sister had one where she was afraid. So,
Yeah.
Maybe you can
Hey, look,
elaborate on
they exist, and there's my personal theory is that there's millions of them out there. Just how many galaxies there are, and then there's interdimensional beings.
I think I know which one is the red alien.
You do.
Yeah.
that. Elaborate, please.
I think it's from the avian species because I
I thought they were blue.
So the blue avians, and I channeled a whole book on blue avians
Mm-hmm.
from the perspective of blue avian, and I have not published it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you just
That's a
There-
thick
That was-
book
that
too.
was
Turns
amazing.
out
Yeah.
in that, it was 400 pages. In that book, a red avian
Oh, that's
showed
right.
up.
That's right. I
Right.
remember.
When that red avian showed up, I was confused, and I said, I thought you were blue avian.
Wait a second. Remember when we were at the channeling conference in Gaia, and I gave a message to Sheila Gillette.
Okay.
Sheila Gillette, the channeler of Theo,
Okay.
who then Theo, the spirit guide, gave Esther Hicks the message she's going to channel Abraham. I gave her a reading backstage when we were having lunch, and I said, there is these aliens that look like red, like cardinals
Yeah, they're from the avian.
that are around you. And
Yeah.
they stopped and then her husband said, when we bought our house, there was a symbol, something of a red cardinal painted. Remember?
Mhm.
And she channels extraterrestrials, and she's very connected to that realm.
So
That's the
avians,
same one.
yeah, they are. It is, and avians. What they represent is, first of all, they're considered one of the closest species that work interdimensionally and in your subconscious mind, in your programming mind, in telepathy with the human race since the beginning of time in the areas of holistic growth and evolution and love. They are considered the communicators.
Now,
They are the
Now,
avian species.
and they're
which
bird-like,
birds-
but we don't know whether
communication.
her sister had the bird-like
Now, but that's her perspective and her
and her
belief
memory
system.
and her conscious
But
memory
it's also her belief system.
That's right.
She may not be prepared
for their true form.
in any way, shape, or form. Body, mind, and spirit. She might not be mature enough to handle a visitation.
Let's touch on that. So, guys,
or it depends if it was scary on purpose.
so it's very
So it just
important to
really
know that you are only your perspective of that dream state is coming from your knowledge here, which is here we grow up with this linear, chronological, 3D dense experience, which is why we're so astounded that people's faces changed and that I could walk through walls and I was flying. It's so astounding there. But that's the norm of what you really are because you are free consciousness. Okay. So your interpretation could be incorrect at times of what you thought you saw, that it was bad. I was afraid, therefore it was bad. No, you could be afraid. Stray dogs are afraid of you when you want to help them and you're super nice. And the stray dog is like, this scary human came, I don't know what it was going to do. And I ran down the alleyway. Yeah. But that dog misinterpreted what was going on. It's the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all we have to say on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we cut off, like drop on a dime like that, it
We're
means
done.
that's it.
That's
okay.
it. That's all we got.
All right. Okay. So Tracy also, I'm just gonna read some of the other alien parts, right?
For sure.
So
Let's stay on aliens for a while.
Cool.
Well, do you want to talk about your alien experience first?
No, I want to hear from these guys, and I'll share mine at the end.
Okay.
I've had a few dreams about spaceships in the sky and landing,
Mhm.
and I'm really close to this ship, but I like nothing happens, and I always like immediately wake up.
Okay, now this could
That's
be
Tracy.
that you were abducted. Look, I go straight to it. because this is something I take very seriously. And many abductees have had dreams like this, Tracy, where they were taken aboard the craft and all they remember is approaching the craft or the craft taking off. And they have no recollection of what happened there. And I want you to trust that experience because, number one, there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just trust that it's for your highest development. So you can, what was the question regarding this, though? Or she just wanted to share and have her comment.
Well, yeah, and I think she also wanted to know, like, why do I just always wake up like nothing happens?
Well, because they're probably doing experiments on you, and then you don't really want to remember that. So you were doing a wise safety measure. And I'm not saying the experiment like I just say it like that, because that's what it is. What do you want? Look, we're at the point where these hearings are happening in front of Congress and the Senate level, guys. This is no longer just in the realm of psychics talking about it. Turn on C-SPAN and you will see whistleblowers right now saying it was an egg-shaped craft. I saw bodies. Either this. We have non-human intelligence. So this has been going back since the 40s and 30s. So the jig is up, everyone. Aliens have been here. We have the bodies. We have the technology. We have been in communication. We have gone already to other planets in the reverse engineered UFOs that we have. It's real. It's confirmed, and it's only going to get more confirmation. So just remember, we've all been saying it, not just me, but people before us have been saying this. So now it's coming to fruition. So I would say to you, that's why, because there's stuff happening on the ship to you and you're interacting with them. And I believe that one day you will remember it, or you'll have an experience that you'll be more conscious for.
I want to elaborate a little bit on what he's saying. I actually think too, in addition, is that you probably have had this whole life of experiences with them, like from childhood. Also, there is a side of you that maybe you need to acknowledge, that you're far more interested in extraterrestrials and higher intelligence than maybe you might realize. And so you're sending out signals. And so there is a connection, and maybe there was a connection from an abduction when you were young, or maybe that there is just interest from you as an adult now, but you are communicating with them for sure. That's what that is. And we have personal experience for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, like,
yeah,
there is. Look at this. Red Eagle's book on it. What book do we have on? Here's one. Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
Look at that. Signed by Travis Walton. Riz. May reason guide us to discover, declare, and defend the truth. Travis Walton. And I'm going to tell you something.
That was a life change, even though the movie was a little bit extreme in comparison.
Yeah, he said the movie wasn't accurate to what there was much more
dramatic in the ship.
There was much more that happened.
Version.
Yeah, much more that happened. But you got to read this book, Fire in the Sky, the Travis Walton experience. He was taken aboard a craft. He was missing for 3 days. The movie Fire in the Sky is good, but that's not what happened to him on the ship. Okay, just know that what's in the movie, and he didn't like that. Hollywood did that just to spice it up. But read this book. And did you even realize that he wrote that to me in there?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys can elaborate just like a little bit, because I think a lot of times there's such a scary connotation with the word abduction, but not every experience is necessarily negative.
Here's what I want to talk about: abduction. And if you guys, if you are interested and curious, I have links and there's information that you can find that I had an alien surgery and encounter, and I am an experiencer. So I would like to say
that's the word, experiencer. So I retract what I said earlier about abducted. I just like to make jokes and poke everybody. So yes. Well, it was an abduction, but you're an experiencer. Overall, the spiritual word is, I had the experience.
So I just want to say that you guys don't know, all of you watching, that you could have been an experiencer and don't remember. And you have no idea how many of you have already since you were born. So there could have been a time when you were a toddler that you had an alien experience and they came in your room, or they came in your dreams, or you had an astral experience, or a psychic surgery, or a psychic experience, or you traveled with them interdimensionally, or there's so many things that you could have done your whole life and you didn't know because they just erase your memory. And you sometimes, this is the bleed throughs. These are the moments where you have these dreams where your subconscious mind is pulling some data and pulling some old memories and pulling out some things that could have happened, or it could have been fresh that just happened. So the reason why we want to tell you to not be afraid is because look at you. You just go to work, you come home, you cook dinner, you go to the market, you just do life. And so could you imagine if you found out you had hypnotherapy and went deep enough and found out that you had regressed memories and found out that you did have an alien experience and you didn't know, and you're just going about your life like just normal. So I used to say back in the day, I hate to say this is true. I'm not saying that anymore. I'm taking the word hate out of it.
Good.
It's not that I hate to say it. I want everybody to start getting more relaxed and comfortable with the conversation. We need to normalize this conversation about ET and
there's another meme.
extraterrestrial
Let's
communication.
normalize talking about aliens.
What was that?
It's another meme and a t-shirt idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a conversation we all have to get comfortable with, okay? Because if you do your research and you find out and know what we know and what others know, is that they've been around since before we even came to the planet, from before dinosaurs. You guys don't understand. This is an intelligent life form that is waiting for us to catch up.
We're related to them, many of them.
So it's nothing to be afraid of in that sense. Is there nefarious characters? Yeah, of course there are, but there's also more good than there is not good. And not just in general, that's just in life. There's more good than not. And so there's protections around this planet. There's Federation protections. There's many species, including the avians, they see us as like the little baby bird eggs. You know, they're super protective and work with us very closely. So you're okay.
Yeah.
Not to worry.
More alien? Any more UFO dreams?
Yes.
Let's hear.
You do. So this is an interesting one because Rogue has had dreams of aliens driving a spaceship, but they were cartoons.
Nice.
So what's it mean when you have cartoon?
Well,
dreams?
immediately I go to
You're very
childhood
magical.
and also her childhood. I think that there was childhood experiences in your subconscious mind recorded it that way.
Yes.
That's how you were able to receive it.
Yeah,
That's how you were able to process it.
and to deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's so interesting. Like I get so much from what you guys are saying because I feel like sometimes if it's just this, the information is so massive and it's so outside of our regular understanding that there's ways that we might block it out or we might characterize it differently in a dream because that's how we can process it.
Right.
Or if you just kind of get it straight, it's like too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, so those were our alien questions. But did you guys want to share anything else about your personal alien?
Did you want to talk about your alien?
Yeah, because well, I'll talk about my dream, but it's not just to tell you guys my dream. It's because there is a level 2 dreams that I wanted to share with you, which are called probable or parallel realities. And this means that there's a series of events that occur running parallel to your life right now, meaning the part of you that could have lived a different life in a different city. Meaning, let's say that you were trying to figure out, you were really seriously considering moving to another city and you had been thinking about it for 2 years, but then you never really did it. So you did do it. What began was that you initiated and created another timeline with that intention, and that version of you goes off and does it. This is a longer discussion I'm going to have to go into, actually a full episode. We're going to have to go into parallel realities.
Ooh, yes.
I got to write that one down now. Where we are living that multidimensional life with parallel realities where you did do this. You did have that lifetime. There are some dreams there are some films that actually touch upon this. There was a Nicolas Cage film way back. I forget what it's called. Please look it up. Just maybe Google Nicolas Cage, parallel life, dream world. He was rich and then he found out he was poor. So basically in this film, Nicolas Cage was this kind of like this asshole stockbroker and living in New York City. And single and had just given up everything for the sake of becoming a multimillionaire. And he wakes up one day and he's not. He married the high school sweetheart. He's got the 2 kids. He's living in a small house, and he can't understand how this happened. Because Family Man, thank you. Watch Family Man. So in my dream, I have a dream of an alien takeover where I'm aware that UFOs are landing. I'm usually at a party and I'm talking to people, and it's usually on a rooftop, and there's usually an ocean in the background. Slightly changes in different dreams. I've had this dream innumerable times for 25 years. Yes. And while I am talking to someone like this, I'm talking to you, and behind you over the ocean, I see lights in the sky starting to fly around, and their little searchlight comes down as if they're looking for someone. In the dream, I know they're looking for me and some other people. And they take over. They land very quickly, and the takeover begins. They begin to line everybody up. There's guards. They start to round people up, and a lot of people are scattering. And in that time, there's people in the family, and Araya's there, and I'm like, meet me here or there. And in my dream, New York and Los Angeles get combined. I grew up in New York City, and then I've spent so many years, close to almost to 20 years in Los Angeles. So home is here for me. I don't think of New York as home, and yet there's a version of me that is home. In the dream time, all these realities converge. And so I asked my spirit guides, what is this about? To make a long story short, is this going to happen? Was this a precognitive dream? Is there going to be an alien takeover? And the message I got from Red Eagle was, no, this is a parallel reality where this did happen. Because you are a medium and a channeler, they know you connect to other dimensions, and they want to round you guys up first. And they do want to get you because you're a threat to their dominance in that reality. That's not going to happen here now. And so I was very concerned for close to 25 years that, is that really going to happen in this lifetime? And when I got that answer, I was very relieved that it was just a parallel reality I was tapping into. So we'll go into that. You can experience that in your dream time. Hope that wasn't too much too soon, but there you go.
Oh, that was great.
Okay.
That's great.
All right.
Time for one more?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not planning on shutting down for a while.
Okay. I thought that it was okay. Great. Let's keep going.
Go ahead.
Let me pull another one. Hold on one second. In the meantime, Amy says that I'm the best assistant on YouTube. I just want to share that with you guys.
We got it at the YouTube Awards.
agree.
We'll be there nominating Erica.
Okay, so Kim had a dream about someone giving her money as a gift. I think she wants to know, is that gonna happen? But what does that mean also if you're kind of receiving, because I think that's a bigger question.
Well, it's
Sometimes
definitely
we have
about
these
abundance.
dreams of like,
Well, it's
things
about
being given
abundance.
to us.
So concerned about good things coming your way. You're pulling for that. Your higher self is trying to pave the path for abundance, manifestation, attracting abundance, and you're almost wanting to experience the thing that you feel like you're not getting in this waking life. So it feels so good to at least experience it there, but that's also giving you a taste of what could come and what's to come if you raise your vibration to that open-handed, receiving, gratuitous experience.
I would also say that if this is a friend that was giving her money,
yes.
well, it can also represent that this friend is giving to you in this lifetime energy. Money represents energy. And maybe there are things that you don't really realize the karmic importance of this friend. This friend is probably, for me, that's a symbol that this person has known you for a long time, and their energy itself is giving you something positive. And maybe you can tap more into that. Maybe you can find out how to receive them more, or in a sense, like realize who they are. What do you think? Yeah?
Yeah. When I go quiet and I have nothing, a blank slate, that means I'm done with whatever message I have for that dream.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. I just go, it's like a wipe. It's like delete. Like everything is, I start fresh for each person.
Colleen had a dream. There was a fire outside of her home. She says, I screamed and told my family, and my brother and his friend had died, but there was no response. And then she climbed a pillar in a tunnel, yelling, I am free. And then someone from Africa was there. So,
Sounds like more of a fear-based dream, meaning
Yeah. I'm getting something right away.
yeah, many dreams occur in a very dramatic fashion so that you have a safe space to express deep, deep fears, subconscious fears, because maybe Colleen will say, well, I'm not really afraid of fire more than the average person would be afraid of fire. But you don't realize that because the subconscious is not known to you in the conscious. There's a lot of things. That's why it shows up in the dream. This is the subconscious showing up. So, as far as someone from Africa was there, I would think that that was one of the guides who was a dream guide who was just observing you from an African life of yours, who was there to just walk alongside of you as you traverse through this dream. Yeah, it's a safe space. Dreams, of course, they're very real and potent and can scare the shit out of you, basically. But they are there to get this energy out of you in the dream time that you're carrying with you throughout the day, but you're not going to walk around talking about being afraid, right?
So once again, I'm going to say something totally different, but it's going to connect because it's energy.
Mhm.
So I have a different way of saying it, but we're saying the same thing. So what I get is that you are waiting for something to happen. You are pent up. You are stressed out. There's something happening in your day-to-day life that feels like you need a big explosion. You need big energy. You need big, heavy fire energy. You need something to happen so you could become free, because that's what you said when you climbed to the top. So you said, I am free. And so it's basically you're trying to move through these perceived blocks in your life, and the fire moves that energy and breaks boundaries and is making things happen. Also, fire in and of itself is a purifier. It is considered a destroyer, but it's one of those things that's a yin-yang experience because it's purifying at the same time, and it's preparing the ground and preparing whatever is underneath it to be rejuvenated. So it's a rejuvenation. Your higher self is asking for rejuvenation. You're needing a breakthrough in some areas here, pent up, and he picked up the fear. So the fear and the anxiety is pent up and it's moving through.
Now let's talk about the roles of the brother and the friend. And you said that they were dying or something, or they already passed on. What is it?
I think that they died, but they died like in the dream.
In the dream.
Yeah.
So our higher selves willfully take on playing a role in the play called your dream. It's a play. Everybody's acting. Everyone's acting, including your brother and his friend. They're not going to know. This is the higher self in agreement with your higher self so that you have a dream to then propel you forward to understand dreams and understand your own self. So they play the role of, okay, I'm going to die in her dream because that's going to bring fear to her. That's going to bring up what needs to be brought up. Okay.
Someone had a question. What does it mean if you're falling in your dreams? This used to happen to me a lot, actually, as a kid.
Well, there's only a few fears that we are actually born with, and one of them is falling. Yeah.
Have you guys heard of that old wives' tale that they said when you were growing up that means your bones are growing?
No, I never heard that.
You never heard that?
No.
Oh my God. That was in our,
afraid of
I don't know
falling?
why in my community that everybody was like, oh, when you're having your growing pains when you're a kid, a lot of times you'll have dreams of falling during that time. I don't know what that feeling, I guess the movement, I had very painful because I had strong growth spurts and like I was
mine
always
didn't really like pan out because I'm short. I don't know. It's very not fair.
You did all your growing really fast.
Yeah, it was really fast. I
and
was
then you
full
just
size
stopped?
by the time I was like 12 years old, and then it was done. That was it. Body finished.
For those of you who would like to know, Erica's 5'3"?
I'm 5'3".
5'3".
Yeah. Small one. But you know what? Can I ask a dream question? Because
Sure.
this was a recurring
Yes.
dream when I was a kid. would happen all the time. I'd be falling asleep and I would literally feel my bed falling, like it would spin down like Alice in Wonderland. And it was like,
So it wasn't Twilight Zone scary. It was more
no,
Alice in
I mean,
Wonderland.
it was a little like, I knew it was
Scary, whimsical.
yeah, like scary, whimsical. That's what it was. But it would happen a lot, and I'd fall asleep. What's that?
So that would have been a terrifying dream for me personally. But knowing Erica, who lives in the fairy world, that dream would be just very connected to who she really is, actually, which is she likes things that are just a little off the beaten path. So she'll fall asleep with her bed spinning downward into a tunnel, and that feels good.
Do you know that if
her.
you Do you know that if you watch the movie Jaws backwards, it becomes this heartwarming tale about how this beautiful shark was giving limbs to people without limbs?
Oh. So you're telling me like Jaws
Maybe we could look at everything from that
Look at me
point
like
of view.
Someone has had a question about this is interesting. I dreamed of true love like in a wedding dress, but I'm not ready for it. I'm actually a free spirit, and that actually really scares me.
Sounds like a Billie Eilish song.
I know exactly why it
That's the
happened.
lyrics. Let's sing that. Erica, sing it. Sing it.
I'm not ready for it in a wedding dress. I'm a free spirit that it scares me. Billie Eilish impression.
So this is so clear as day for me. So basically, because you're afraid of it, and because your destiny probably includes you partnering and getting married in your future, they're dropping little pins and just setting your intention in the subconscious mind to know that you will eventually partner and to have this in the back of your mind. And the fact you got to viscerally experience it with the wedding dress and the feeling of love is showing you nothing to be afraid of, showing you that this is in your future and something to look forward to. So not feel scared of it, but to feel the good part about it, the part where the love is and the part that you're feeling all the good feelings that you want to have. That's my take on it. You want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting some more, we're delving into more of the shadow side of dreaming.
Please.
Let's go into the shadow side.
Ella says, I had a dream I was at my grandparents' house in this lifetime. I started going for a walk on their street, and this like dark figure started following me, screaming, "You never know when you're going to die." And I woke up very scared. What does that mean?
Pretty accurate. You don't ever know when you're going to die. I would turn around
It
and
is
actually
very
thank that spirit for telling me the truth.
To be honest with you, that is so point blank.
It's like,
That's basically
you don't need to
like-
look into that.
That's like your spirit guide coming in and saying, just to get your attention, I want to let you know that you will die eventually. So pay attention.
Right. This is
to
just a
what's
fear.
happening.
Yeah. This is a dream about a fear of loss, certainly related to family. Having a fear of loss, carrying that with you can be a very heavy burden on your soul. And I like to make jokes about it because it's like, okay, I get it. It's true. Just love life, but don't love life because you fear death. That doesn't make any sense, because then you're rushing to have all these experiences because, you know, death is inevitable. And so I better get all these great experiences in now. But, you know, eventually we all die and we all lose each other. No, you need a complete and utter 180 belief shift, which is we don't ever die and we are all one. And we're all on a journey together. And I'm gonna see my dog again, and my mom again, and my dad again, and my brother again. And they're with us now, and I can see through their eyes. That's what I teach people when I'm teaching them how to get over grief. I go, right now, I want you to see through your loved one who crossed over. See through their eyes. Look at the room the way they would look at the room. This blows them away.
I've done that.
And you're like, wait, I can do it. Okay, just talk to me about what you're seeing in the room as your loved one. And they start saying things that their loved one would say, and then they start to feel closer to them, because that's actually how you do it. It's all about communication. Communion, right, Marissa? Okay.
Communion.
Yeah.
Communion.
Next.
Nathan Wallace had a dream about both of you.
No way.
Yes. He said, "Oh, you wanted me to meet your daughter because of spirituality and art. And Riz, you were there sitting on a chair being quiet." So
Well, that definitely was a
rare thing.
dream.
That
It was a very
dream.
fantastical dream. None of it's going to come true. But I would say this.
Why is it not going to come true?
I'm just being the protective dad.
What was there to be protected? I missed.
I don't think
I think Riz's joke didn't land. for the
Yeah.
first time.
So you say someone was talking to your daughter?
Yeah, but because of like spiritual.
I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But I'll say that.
Fell flat, Riz.
Fell flat.
Get in a chair and be quiet, like in the dream.
Yes, it's time for Riz to be quiet, like in the dream.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that later.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
worry. They're all going to pay.
Leos cannot
They
hear
all will
this.
pay
He's
later.
planning our demise right now.
He's
You
on
will
the
see full
wheels,
punishment
turning
happen.
it, locked
Give it
in.
about 4 minutes, and then we go down. You're gonna watch the whole thing play
It
out.
will also be
If
on
he
a.
never gets corrected like
It'll
this.
be in escrow, and you'll be paying on a
I
payment
know.
plan for the next 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay,
I already know.
read the question again.
Let's just. But you guys already kind of talked about this before. You know, sometimes people have dreams about the two of you.
Right.
And
Now, okay, I do want to talk about that in the sense that people have said that, and we don't know. It doesn't mean that that's not real because the other person doesn't know. Phineas, one of the spirit guides that we channel, one of our main teachers, was talking about this and said that all connections and communications are by agreement of both parties, or all parties, excuse me. So everyone agrees on a higher level to have that communication. There are versions of me and you that are interacting with in your dream with you.
And
We're not aware of it.
We're unaware of what we're doing.
And we're
in
not
that way.
supposed to be aware of
Right.
it. If we were supposed to be, we would be.
And we would know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, by the way,
But we have and want to, what?
just side note of fascination fact, I call it. You know how we have people in our dreams that were like, oh, hey, I want to tell you about my dream. You were there and you were there. And there were some other people, I don't know who they were, but they were there. And you're never going to know who are these other people that were in the dream. Well, logic will tell you that in somebody else's dream, somewhere in some other country, somebody's having a dream and you're that person that they don't recognize. Those people are people you've had contact with in other lifetime experiences, and they're not supposed to be in the main role.
Right.
Okay. They're extras, so to speak.
Yeah.
So my computer's reloading, so but
Okay.
also there's been a couple questions in this topic in general. You know, what about when you have dreams about people you know, but maybe you aren't really communicating with right now? Is that real? Is that communication really happening?
I actually think you work on. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a scenario. Wow, this is layered. Okay, here's the scenario. I have family members that I don't talk to anymore because they don't approve of my belief systems or my lifestyle. So I've had to unhappily walk away from them. I didn't want to, but because they were so not sure and unhappy, and they didn't like everything I was and who I became to such a degree, and I felt the judgment so deeply, I couldn't actually be in their presence anymore, unfortunately. So I had to remove myself from this group of family members. And it was bothersome for me, and it hurt me, and I felt really bad. But I had to move on. So it's been a long time.
It's called being the amethyst sheep of the family.
That's true. So it's been like 15 years now. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, every now and again, I will have a dream of this group of people.
How annoying is that?
Extremely. And so they come into the dream and they pick up right where we left off. And it was like nothing happened.
What makes you think I want to talk to you in this dream? Like, why are you talking? Right? Have you ever that feeling?
In the dream, I'm actually feeling peace, and I'm actually happy that they're there. But I'm a little uncomfortable and suspicious because I don't know why they're there. But
why are you happy that they're there?
I'm happy because I'm seeing that little communion, which is the word of the day. So I'm feeling that communion as it was in the old days when we had that connection.
Oh.
So I feel some sort of soul relief. But then I also have another moment where I feel like, oh, no, this is not what I want.
Right.
And I'm very glad when I wake up that it wasn't real. But then I feel uncomfortable because I wish I didn't have to spend the whole night hanging out with them. So then I have to clear it. So basically, there's some layers here, 2 or 3 layers if you've had dreams like this. The first layer is you're scratching an itch. And the itch that you're scratching is you miss that person subconsciously. You miss those interactions, that conversation, the kind of connection you had way back in the day. And then what happens is then you also have the reality check, the wake up call of where you are today. And that wake up call is, oh, that's right. It was a choice that I'm no longer in their life. And then you have to ask yourself, but then why am I dreaming about it? So then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, there's a reason. So the reason is it because I have nostalgia? Am I feeling sadness? Do I feel family? Am I feeling like I never get a feeling like I need to reach out to them and say anything to them, because nothing's going to come of it, because they haven't changed one iota from where they were when I last left them.
Right.
So I know they're not going to change, but it's a feeling of like, oh, I have not released this low grade, annoying pain. Like it's like one of those dull aches that is just in the back of your heel kind of feeling, or
Just that human
it's like
thing,
you feel bad that why couldn't we just stay unified, or why couldn't we all evolve together? Isn't that what we all are here for?
I've had dreams of my old band, members who were of my band, and we were like brothers. And I've had dreams where I'm talking to them and going, man, what a ride this has been. And you just grow apart, or you just have who knows if you're ever going to see these people that you were so close to before. And part of you will always be close, and you'll never ever have that connection with anyone else ever again. And you just go, well, that was for that time period of life. And it is heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching.
It's
when you
heart-wrenching
wake up, because you're dealing with like, oh, that reality.
Like, should I reach out? And
right.
And then you're like, oh, they're different people now. Like, are we going to have a fulfilling kind of connection of like, can I just get over it? Like, what should I do? It makes you think, rethink and rethink and rethink.
Some people, by the way, and I've heard, have had dreams similar, but they did reach out, and turns out there was some news, or there was something
going on, or they were really thinking about you, and they feel exactly like you do.
It wasn't good news. It wasn't a good. She was right that she reached out, but the news that she got was not good news. It wasn't about death or anything, but it wasn't a good feeling. So anyway, that's just how I feel in that regard.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of time left. Does anybody else have any questions, or should we? Everybody's just chit chatting. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really like look at everybody's talking.
Let's see. I told people that I'm happy to appear in their dreams if they would like.
Yeah.
Because I started to get some FOMO, because everyone's having dreams about you guys.
Oh, Erica's FOMO, you guys.
Yeah, don't keep saying that you have us in your dream. Why isn't Erica in your dream?
Come on, guys. Like, I'll come by. Say hi. And somebody. Oh yeah, so Kathy, this would be a good last one. This is kind of a past life question.
Yeah, I'm overheated now.
But very interesting. So she's had this recurring dream,
okay,
where she is shot in the leg, and in her waking life, she has a birthmark, like a very distinct birthmark in her leg.
Day with that
on her leg, really?
That's your past life right there. And that right there is, you probably had an injury, an arrow went through you, a bullet went through you. It could have been anything. But you are remembering your I would like to call it a spiritual memory. It's kind of like spiritual DNA. It's like you have
your etheric body affecting your etheric energy body, astral body affecting and showing up in the physical body. We often have birthmarks from injuries from past lifetimes.
So fascinating.
Yeah, it's very, very true. I've done phone readings. I've never met the person, and I'm just on the phone doing a psychic reading. And I'll say something very specific about, and I'll say, do you happen to have a mark behind your left knee? And they'll say, yeah. And I'll say, is it a birthmark? I said, but I see that you had, this happened in a past life. There was a knife wound or something. Yeah. And here's what's interesting. Sometimes they'll say, well, I don't have a birthmark. I actually have a scar because I backed into something and it cut me on the back of my knee, 10 years ago. And so the mark showed up in a similar type of accident.
I would like you to tell the story, our favorite little story of Timmy, who was remembering his airplane numbers.
Oh, James,
please tell this is one of my favorite stories, and I love how you tell it.
So you
guys will love this story about past lives, dreams, and to see if this has ever happened to you. Okay, go ahead.
Just want to say I really like wearing this blanket.
Well, I warmed it all up because I'm overheated.
I think
now.
I want like a kilt I want like a long
This
robe
is
like this.
This is a gift from the kid.
I want to wear a
It's
wrap like this.
Taurus
Yeah.
blanket.
Look at that.
Are you grabbing it?
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
cold.
And won't
He
let me
just-
Yeah.
show?
No.
I'm trying.
Why are
to
you taking it off me?
I'm trying to show.
You don't need to show them that. They know what it is.
What is this? What is the pulling?
It wouldn't.
Why
be,
are you taking the
It wouldn't
blanket
be
off of me?
alive
I'm just trying
if
to
there
show the
wasn't a
design.
moment like
Okay,
this.
yeah. Good. It's a
Now
Taurus
it's
blanket.
official that we had to like.
Dang.
I'm going to wear this as a wrap. I think the men should wear wraps. It's freaking badass to wear a
Also,
wrap.
in India, they wear wraps, and also
That is
Celtic.
true. And Celtic men wear wraps. Scottish
Middle
men wear
Eastern.
kilts. It's freaking badass.
Well, I guess
Maybe that's going to be my look.
you have to do that on Sunday.
I'm going to wear a freaking wrap like this. I like it. Okay. So
Tell the story.
there's a book called Soul Survivor. Basically,
Mhm.
it's about this. I think the child's name is James.
Right.
And he was having night terrors, and he was waking up from a nightmare, and he would say, "I'm going down," or he would say, "Help me, Mike," or something.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what this. And this is a little kid. We're talking toddler, and he would say a series of numbers. It was very disturbing. They couldn't figure it out. Long story short, someone says that sounds like a serial number of a plane. They're like, really? They write down the serial number. The friend researches it somehow because it was driving the parents crazy. The kid was super traumatized.
Right.
He doesn't know why he's saying it. He doesn't
Right.
even remember anything.
Right.
Well, they find out that serial number was a serial number. That number was a serial number of a plane that went down in the war. The pilot's name was James also.
Did
So
you
this
mention
kid
that? Yeah, go ahead.
was obviously reincarnated. But here's the most interesting thing. Okay, so it's this soul that gets reincarnated. He has a different family, a different set of parents in the life where he's a World War II pilot. Okay? He dies in the plane, goes down, loses his life. That soul comes back, is born reincarnated as this kid with a new set of parents. And those parents name him James, which means that those souls psychically were tuned into who the identity of this soul is.
Some mothers receive their kids' names. Your mom received your name.
In a dream. Yeah.
Received the name.
I've also received my kids'
So
name.
think about these. This is fascinating, mind-blowing, that how interconnected, how the journey continues and continues and continues.
Well, now you have to tell the Titanic story.
Well, just watch Ghost Within My Child on YouTube. You guys, Ghost Within My Child is
you
about
want-
how
yeah.
children who have remembered their past lives in detail.
In dreams.
Watch the Titanic one.
Oh, the Titanic one? Well, there's actually 5 or 6. A lot of Titanic people have come back and they're now, now they're in their teens. Some of them are in their teens.
Well, they all know detailed information that there's
Yeah.
no way a little child would have possibly known. So watch Ghost Within My Child. It is, and these have to do with dreams. This is why we're talking about it.
Right. So you guys, if any of this resonates with you, let us know in the chats. And we are coming to a close.
Yeah, tell
It's
us
been really
more of your
fun.
stories, guys. And by the way, guys,
We
I don't
would
know
love
if you
to do
know
this again.
Yes, I just wanted to say on the side note, I'm doing a lot of these downloads on TikTok. You can find me under Psychic Riz the Wiz on TikTok, and I'm doing messages every day. And yeah, join me in the community there. It's really, really, really great. I'm having a great time on TikTok. So we're going to do a part 2 to the channeling, I think, or interdimensional
with
talk
Phineas,
with Phineas.
right?
Yeah,
Because that was like
next week, guys. Tune in on Tuesday. It'll go up on Tuesday. I think Tuesday it's going to go up. Look for the part 2 with Phineas. And then we're going to do another live. Every week we're going to do a live classroom discussion with the topic of the week that the spirit guide spoke about. Today was dreams.
And that is all, my friends.
And sweet dreams to all of you.
Sweet dreams. And if you missed everything and anything, please go back and rewatch it again and watch our channeling video from a couple days ago.
Yes.
On dreams.